Welcome to Digital Dominators, the podcast that helps small business owners grow their confidence, sharpen their digital skills, and actually enjoy showing up online. I'm Sue Jung, your host, tech coach, and digital cheerleader, and every week I chat with brilliant experts to bring you practical tips, smart strategies, and the tools and tech to make business easier. From social media marketing to websites, content to confidence, AI to automation, we're breaking it down into simple steps you can actually use. If you're ready to make things simpler and more successful in your digital world, you're in the right place. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to Digital Dominators, the podcast where we unpack the tools, tactics, and digital mindset you need to show up, grow up, and glow up online. Today, we're diving into one of the most asked about platforms in the business world, Instagram. Because while we all know we should be using it, most people are stuck in the cycle of second guessing their content, burning out on the algorithm, and wondering why their posts aren't converting. If that sounds familiar, then this is the episode you've been waiting for. Lindsay Mcglone is a powerhouse social media strategist, a proud LGBTQI+ and body positive advocate, and someone who doesn't just talk about visibility, she lives it, breathes it, and delivers it. Through her courses, content, and coaching, Lindsay helps business owners cut through the fluff and actually make Instagram work for them and their audience. From reach to engagement to real sales, she's all about getting results in a way that feels aligned, confident, and fun. Lindsay has a fierce, loyal online community, and once you hear her speak, you'll understand why. She's unapologetic, strategic, and here to show you how to stop people scrolling and start people connecting. So let's get into it. Lindsay, hello. Welcome to the Digital Dominators podcast. I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you?
I'm excited to be here. For somebody who's so visible, I'm very selective about where I share my face. So I'm very excited to be here.
And what a lovely face it is. I'm so glad that you're here. Now, this is the same as I ask every person that comes on the podcast. I've read out your bio, but it's always lovely to hear how you've got to where you are now from your own words. So introduce yourself to the audience then, Lindsay, in your own words.
Okay, so my name is Lindsay Mcglone. My pronouns are she, they. You can use them interchangeably. It's not that deep. I am an Instagram expert. I help people get better reach, engagement, and make more sales on Instagram, particularly whilst creating social impact. I'm also a marketing genius, producer, activist, and influencer, proud member of the queer community, neurodivergent, and unapologetically fat.
You couldn't have said that any beautifully there, Lindsay, as well. And I think that's what sums up the full picture of who you are. Like that's you're completely who you say that you are, and that's integrity for me right off the bat. So tell me how you got into Instagram and to using social media. Where did that come from for you?
So that actually came from my experiences throughout school. So I've always existed in a large body. I was always different. I was always bullied through secondary school. And I started to realize that my lived experience was a lived experience that many people shared, but I didn't have a community. I didn't have a space where people online could talk and we could relate to each other. So I just basically started talking on Instagram about my lived experiences and realizing that I wasn't the problem, my body wasn't the problem, society was the problem. And talking quite loudly about that. And I was young, like I've been at this game for 10 plus years in regards to social media. And I found that people started to listen to me. They started to listen to me. They were created a community. Now, remember, when I started this, I wasn't going to sell anything. This wasn't where my business was going to be. I didn't even think about it. And then I got gifted an item to try on because my style is quite different and unique. And I thought, wait a minute, I've got a bit of a flavor for this. I quite like free things in the post. So I grew my Instagram following from 4,000 to 10,000 in 6 months.
Wow.
And business owners started saying, well, how do you do that then? And it kind of just went from there.
Wow. And I love that it's so authentic, your journey is part of it, and that's what you connect with your audience. So from 4,000 to 10,000 in 6 months, you grew your following in that. That's an incredible growth rate. That's more than double your growth rate is part of it.
I was absolutely obsessed. So the reason that I did that back then, I say back then, I mean, I'm only 27, but back then, the reason I did that is because of the swipe up feature. So you could only swipe up on your stories if you had 10,000 followers or
That's right.
more, which made me more appealing to brands because I could link back their products. So that's why I was determined to get to 10,000 followers. And what I learned over the course of growing that following has built the foundation of my business. I've obviously learned more, and expertise is when you work with clients, in my opinion, you learn from their experiences, you learn how to solve their problems and use it
Yeah.
time and time again. But it's built the absolute foundation of my business. So I couldn't be more grateful to the fact that actually I had the experiences that I had growing up, because it's made me, firstly, massively resilient, but also it makes me, it puts me in a position where I'm able to talk about community and mean it, where I'm
Yeah.
able to talk about lived experience and know what that means, and to position people who probably are not positioned as experts, help clients position themselves as experts, rightfully so. So even though I didn't like the experiences growing up that I had, it absolutely helped me be ruthless,
Hmm.
and care as much as I care. And that's why I think so many people relate to me, is because they know that that care is real, like you can feel it.
I think that is really prevalent in any post that you put out across any of the channels that you're actually on. Tell us a little bit more where people can find you as well, and start to consume all of your content, Lindsay.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at Rolling with Lindsay, no G on the rolling, and there's an underscore. So that was actually Rolling with Lindsay. And the reason I won't change it, it's so petty. I want to change it to Lindsay Mcglone, but the reason I won't change it is because my next goal after 10,000 followers was getting the blue tick before you could pay for it, to say that I was
Hmm.
an old figure. And I managed to get that. So I don't pay for my blue tick. But if I change my name on Instagram, I,
Ah, yeah.
so my name is Rolling with Lindsay on Instagram with no G, and it was always a play on my size. So rolling with
Hmm.
you can also find me on Facebook, Lindsay Marie McGlone, which again is a ridiculous thing because I've got my middle name in there. But you can find me on Facebook as well. And also I hang out on my email list a lot. But the content that I create it's a bit random, but it's not. There's a strategy to it all. But if you
Hmm.
was to consume my content outwardly, you'd probably be a bit confused at the very, very off. And I'm aware that that's like how my content comes across, because I have so many defining factors of my business, that there's so much that
Hmm.
I do, that particularly on Instagram, because I do a lot of my influencing and content creation over there, that,
Hmm.
you know, the things that you see on there are less salesy than actually what you see on Facebook.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can find me in all the spaces, but you will get the same kind of tone regardless of what space you're in.
Yeah, and I love that no matter where people can find you, they can get a part of you as that. And it's not you're using a channel for one strategic aspect of it. You're just truly authentic and wherever it is that you're presenting yourself. So when you started with Instagram, you were sharing part of your life and your journey and your story. And do you find that that's, even as a business owner, a way to be able to connect with your audience? What would you recommend for people?
Absolutely, 100%. Like, audience, we talk about people buying from people, and I absolutely agree. We buy from people we like, know, and trust. And I always go a step further. We go with people that we align with. If we
Mm,
think about the political climate right now, and we think about how diverse how decisive it is, and how many people's opinions are coming into the political and business circle, we have to make it apparent where we stand. We have to make it apparent. So sharing your personal story and your lived experience is a way to firstly encompass your audience. I've literally just done a training where I've spoken about the fact that we should take our audience with us. One of the reasons that people love to see me win, and I've actually created a community that love to see me win, is because I talk about us, we, and our. It's our community. It's we did this. You helped me with this. So I encompass my audience from day one. And that's what I did without realizing I did it. Now I do it
mm.
intentionally. and teach it. But absolutely sharing your story is a way that you can relate to your audience and also make them care. Like, we have to make them care. I say on my visibility sessions and one-to-one clients, we're tomorrow's chip paper. If nobody cares, then everything else is a bonus. So we
Mhm.
need to make them care. And one of the ways that we can make them care is absolutely sharing our story. And that's why I make note of it so much and I share it so proudly, because actually this was never intended to be my business. I was never intending to make money off this. I was never intending to utilize it. But how thankful am I that I can?
Mhm.
Because not only do I get to have a business and help other business owners, but I get to utilize the income that I generate to put it back into industries that I care about. So I will never not talk about where I started, because I think it's so pivotal and important. And also,
Mhm.
people need to know your story. So absolutely, if you're not sharing why you care and what is, your backstory, people can't invest in you in the same level. And I don't just mean financially. I mean, when somebody invests in you, but they know and care about you as a person, they invest their time so much more readily as well. So they're going
Mhm.
to be more open to learning from you. And then you're going to create raving fans, because you're going to get good results. So it isn't just about financial investment. It's how much do they actually want to learn from you. And if you're not sharing your values and your story, then you're not letting people in.
How do people start to do that when they've come from a mindset of, I am a business and I have a business and I am a person, and they don't go together? Because that's what social media used to be, right? It used to be, here's your business, that's the brand. I keep my personal stuff separate. How do you amalgamate those together? What would you recommend?
Well, the first thing that I will say is personal brands grow so much quicker than logos and Canvatastic accounts. Like, I call them Canvatastic accounts.
That's such a great title, fantastic accounts, because they really are.
I have
Yeah.
nothing against Canvatastic accounts. All I'm saying is they're not the one, right? They're not always the one. And do you know what? It works for some people. And if it works for them, I'm not there to judge anybody's business. What I will say is personal brands do grow a lot quicker. And the reason that so many people relate to me and work with me is because my personal brand is so strong that actually they're invested in me before they invest in what knowledge
Yeah.
I have. Obviously, social proof helps. Expert positioning helps. Obviously, I do all of those things too. I give knowledge, I give evidence. Okay. But initially, it's this. It's
Hmm.
this, the story that they buy into. So if you're wanting to start sharing your personal story, I'd literally say it's a bit like exposure therapy. Now, I'm not a therapist, right? But exposing little bits of yourself that feel comfortable, from what food you're eating, right? Just just toiter with it, have fun with it. You know, share those little things that don't feel unsafe, so they can be, what music you like, what programs you're watching, because you don't know what you're going to relate to, your audience is going to relate to. You don't know that until you put it out, okay?
Hmm.
So a lot of my audience align on values, politics, style, queerness. Also, some of the music I watch, music I listen to, documentaries, things like that. But I never knew that those were going to be the things that people would
Hmm.
relate on until I started speaking about them.
Yeah.
So speaking about parts of your life enables your audience to relate to you. So start small. That's the very first thing that I'd say. Secondly, set clear boundaries for yourself. I am very open on social media. Is there still parts of my life that I don't share? Absolutely. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a filtered version of myself. I've got hiccups, excuse me. It simply means that I choose which information I'm comfortable having open on the internet. So you can set boundaries for yourself, and also remind yourself that you have autonomy over what
Hmm.
information you put out there. That is your autonomy. That is your choice. So remembering that you have autonomy, starting small, and also thirdly, remembering how that can serve your clients. Sharing your story can serve your clients. One of the ways that I give back is by being visible in a body that is a larger fat body. We talk about body diversity, and I really, really appreciate that we speak about that. And we speak about plus size people. We don't speak about the people that walk in the room and people stare at and say, bloody
Yeah.
hell, she's big. I'm
Hmm.
one of those people, and I'm not sorry for me, but what I am saying is I am giving permission to other people who exist in similar bodies to think, actually, if Lindsay can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
People of the queer community. If Lindsay can do it, I can do it. And I'm not some martyr and I don't think I'm bloody brilliant, but what I'm saying is representation matters and physical representation matters. And if you're not sharing your story and your lived experience, I can guarantee there's audience that need to tap into you for themselves that cannot.
Yeah, I that is one thing that really helped. Like you're getting me myself back out visible again after being unwell. So I've just been through a cancer journey and I had to stop being visible for a while. And I have a different body now. But when I was watching like what you were doing and I was watching a bunch of other people, I was like, Sue's words with myself and being like, I can really help people as well at the same time by being more visible. And those are the most posts that get the most action on my account are the ones when I talk about my journey. Do you find that your clients that you're working with, whenever they come to that realization as well around they put themselves out there a little bit more,
Yeah,
that they
absolutely.
get those results as well?
Absolutely, yeah, and it makes me laugh. I was speaking actually to my partner about this, and the biggest thing that I find is people say to me, "I want to learn about Instagram from you." This is particularly when we're on a one-to-one situation. So they'll book a one-to-one with me. They're like, "Lindsay, teach me about Instagram." I can guarantee 80% of those calls are nothing to do with Instagram.
Okay, right.
Do with how do I become more visible? How do I have the confidence? Like, give me some of your wisdom. Tell me what I need to do. And when we come to the realization that the value that we hold is so much more than our appearance and so much more than our sexuality and so much more than all those defining factors, and we can also nod our head to that because I evidently do, that once we realize that, it gives us a permission to show up. And naturally, as you say, those posts get more engagement, those stories get more engagement. And you don't, this is the thing, when we think about sales and we think about social media, we should be absolutely selling every single day. I now sell every single day, 100%. But also, we can't just sell at our audience and build no relationship
Hmm.
because it's not going to work. And something that I'm really talking about at the minute is community and raving fans.
As a creator, I used to spend hours re recording voiceovers to get the perfect tone. But finding reliable voice talent, booking studio time, and editing takes forever, and it can break the bank. That's why I recommend 11 Labs. It generates ultra realistic AI voices and even clones your own, all in seconds. With natural sounding speech, multilingual support, and seamless text to speech conversion, 11 Labs powers podcasts, audiobooks, training modules, and more. No mic required. Ready to level up your audio? Try it free today at allmylink.me/TC11labs and bring your scripts to life with 11 Labs.
You might make sales, you're not going to build a community or raving fans. So
Yeah.
then the sales are always on your back. You've always got to bring in those sales. But if you bring a community of raving fans, they're going to talk about you when you're not in the room. They're going to talk about you when you're not there. So actually sharing your story is going to get you a flurry of engagement. You're going to build a personal relationship with your audience. And then you're also nurturing them, ready to sell to them. And visibility matters. And that doesn't always have to be on marginalized and underrepresented identities. That can be people who have had lived experiences of something that we don't talk about a lot, so people can relate to that. It doesn't just have to be like, I am a queer person, I'm a fat person. It can be, that I fell over in the street today and I felt like a right muppet, but I just want you to know that it was okay. And somebody could say, oh, actually, thank you, I feel better for that. It doesn't have to be that deep all the time.
Okay. I think that's what people assume, that they need to bare their soul. They need to really align themselves to specific, like, I am this. They're these kind of pillars that they put themselves towards. Yes, have them, but I love that you're like, no, make it human. Let's
Yeah.
be human around all of this and bring your humanness out, but with boundaries around it, right?
Absolutely. It keeps you and your audience safe. Boundaries keep both parties safe because also you'll know if you create boundaries, if you feel a pull or if you feel some kind of friction, you know that most likely what's happened there is you've pushed too hard against a boundary that you've tried to create and that doesn't feel comfortable to you. And then you can check yourself and you can also keep your audience safe.
I love that so much. So, what are some of the biggest myths about how people start to grow on Instagram?
Okay, so the biggest myth on Instagram is that you need to go bloody viral. Can we not? It's not, and that you need thousands of followers. Now, I will caveat that with saying that having a following does help with your credibility. It helps with your PR, helps more people find you. But your make and break on Instagram is not whether you have thousands of followers. Okay. Your make and break on Instagram is whether you know how to convert. Okay. Whether you know how to convert the audience into customers, into clients. Not only that, another myth of Instagram is, and all social media actually, it's quite interesting, all social media, that all social media has to serve all things.
Mm.
Now, if you have a strategy and you think about it strategically, you can give different platforms a different role. For example, Instagram can be your big lead magnet where you have the most reach, but you don't sell. You bring people into your freebies, you bring people into your mailing list, into your world, you let people know who you are, brand representation. Then they go over to your Facebook and you sell on Facebook or in your email list or vice versa. Each social media platform, believe it or not, can serve a different purpose as long as you are aware of it. So the first one, you don't need thousands of followers. Bloody hell, you don't. And you don't need there's no point going viral if people are not going to buy from you. Like if
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to achieve, then viral or sales. I know which one I'm choosing.
Mhm.
Secondly, not every social media platform has to serve every purpose. You just need to know what purpose it is that it's selling. And I think thirdly, engagement is important and I improve my clients' engagement massively. Equally, if you're still converting from your Instagram content, guess what? You're not focused on Instagram because if you're still selling and your business is working on the back end off the back of your Instagram, guess what? Your Instagram is working. So it's not
Mhm.
always engagement and following. You've got to think, what do I actually want out of this? You've got to focus on what you want out of it. So I think the the encompassing part of that is if your Instagram is working, you will know because you'll have tangible results in your back end, as I call it, in your back end.
And
You
your
will know
back end, yeah.
sales. You will know that you're getting leads. You will know that they're converting. That's when you know if your Instagram is working or not.
And I bet a lot of people don't even track that or even think to track anything like that as well. They
No.
don't look at their DMs, they don't reply back to messages, they don't. Do you see that a lot with your customers? Yeah.
I think what I've seen more so is not so much they don't check their DMs and things, is that they're very quick to write off Instagram. It doesn't work. That's what I hear more than anything. Instagram doesn't work. I've been on it for years and I've never had a client on Instagram. Okay.
That was literally my next question is like, what do you say when someone comes and says to you, Instagram isn't working for me? And it's just led into what we're talking about because it is true. People are like, oh no, that doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Yeah. Basically, just like any other skill that we acquire, if you've not been taught how to use the platform correctly, then no, it's not going to work. You're
Hmm.
absolutely correct. So I've forgot the original question now. I went on a bit of a tangent. Yeah, so when people come to me and they think that Instagram isn't working and they don't check the DMs and things like that, that's what you were saying. Do you find that
Hmm.
people do that? What I find is that firstly, people haven't been taught how to use it, so they write it off, but don't actually give any time to it. And it's interesting when they're given rules, not rules, but methods of showing up just differently. They think
Yeah.
they're constantly on the platform. You tell them to do 10 minutes where they don't scroll and they actually do the thing that they're meant to be doing. It's working now. And I'm spending 10 minutes a day. And I'm thinking, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So the biggest thing is people not engaging with other people. So they go onto the platform, they post the content, they're churning out the same content, they're reposting what they've put on Facebook, but they're spending no time engaging with anybody. And they go, well, it don't work for me. Well, no, it's
Hmm.
not going to, because if you talk to nobody, you're literally talking to nobody. So
Hmm.
forget that you have to put effort in. It is a social media platform. We are there to be sociable.
I've heard it being explained like this. It's rather than social media, people think it's about me, like themselves, but it's actual social media because it's about them and
Yeah.
it's about the people on the platform. So that's what builds the engagement by going and communicating with them, right?
Yeah. And also that builds genuine, authentic relationships, right? That's how we sell. We are, if it is important to us to build genuine, authentic connections and relationships, what we then need to do is build those relationships. If we are centering ourselves constantly, so many people have a God complex. We've seen it. So many people have a God complex where they position themselves as the expert, but not just the expert. They've
Yeah.
created a God complex where they have like a following of people around them that are weirdly obsessed with them. And I'm surprised they're
Hmm.
not curtsying when they walk into a room. That's not what we're doing. We're not here to center ourselves. We're
Hmm.
actually here to serve our audience. We're actually here to educate our audience. We're actually there to communicate with them, connect with them, so then that we can help them. If we're constantly on the platform and giving no engagement back out, well, then no, it's not going to work. I did my SOS training last week, and I said, if I can teach you anything, just one thing that will change your Instagram, it is literally to spend 10 minutes a day where you actually communicate with people that you are following. If everybody listening to this right now
Hmm.
did that consistently for 10 days, I reckon, 10 minutes for 10 days where you're not scrolling, where you're actually engaging with people, you will see a difference in your Instagram. 100%.
So people that they're following or their followers themselves.
No, so the people that they're following and also people that they're not following. So that's how you
Okay.
build the following, is going out and engaging with people with similar interests to you, people who could be your ideal clients, people that you want to notice you, public figures, things like that. And is spending time just engaging with people, because you can't build a relationship based on nothing. And people are often like, but my content gets no engagement, nobody's hearing it, nobody's reading it. But they're not going to, because you're not talking to them. You're
Mm.
talking to nobody, because then don't know that you're there. Just churning out content is not good enough.
No, and people spend so much time trying to make their content absolutely perfect and pristine, don't they? But
Yeah.
actually, what you're saying is that 10 minutes, not only you're saying that spending the time kind of doom scrolling, use that to actually engage with your current audience and any prospective audience, but actually just get content out there really as well that speaks to them, that educates them, that connects with them in some sort of way as well.
Absolutely. We're spending so much time being too filtered in a different version of ourselves and trying to curate rather than create. We're
Hmm.
curating an ideal life. We're putting ourselves in situations. We're waiting until we're on a red carpet, or we're waiting until we're at that business networking event where we get the free glass of champagne. We don't have to wait. Okay. A lot of people exist in extremely successful businesses that have no wallpaper on one wall, or the floor's being taken up, or
Yeah.
they haven't had the garden mowed in a week, or they've got to take the bin out. It doesn't take away or detract away from how successful you are, the tangible results that you get for your clients, the results that you create for you. It does not matter. And people are connecting to people. And if we're constantly curating, not creating content, where we're putting ourselves into these unattainable situations, how do we expect our audience to align with us? Because we're
Yeah.
so far from their reality.
Hmm. Yeah.
How can we expect people to want to invest their time and their finances when we're so unattainable that it doesn't seem real?
Mm.
I think people forget that consumers and clients are savvier than they think they are,
Yeah.
like the champagne lifestyle and stuff. And I'm not saying that people don't exist in that lifestyle, because some people do. That's not my reality.
Hmm.
I'd rather go and get a £20 wristband in Doncaster, where I'm from, for a few hours having a drink in awful cups. And that is my reality.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it detracts away from the results that I get for my clients.
And I think it's been honest about there's nothing wrong with where you're at. Everyone wants to be somewhere else, but it's an acknowledging that where you're at is great and it's good to be in other environments, but there's loads of other people that are looking to be where you're at as well, aren't they? There's remembering part of that too, I find as well. So don't need to pretend that you're something that you're not when people can align with where you're at right now. I
It's
like
so
that.
interesting. I've had some conversations recently, one on another podcast actually, about the word successful. And I said, they asked me, how do I think I've become successful? And it kind of threw me. And I said, do you know, it's really weird because people are starting to explain. And when they talk about me, say, Lindsay is successful. Lindsay is successful. And it's always kind of thrown me because my first depiction of success was when I didn't have to check the bank when I went into Asda.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been successful for a long time, right? My
Mm-hmm.
depiction of success isn't somebody else's depiction of success.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're sharing our reality and our narrative and what actually is real to us, somebody else might be in a position where they're thinking, I'd love to walk into Asda and not have to check my
Yeah.
bag. And I'm thinking, well, actually, because I'm sharing that with you, I also know if you use Instagram right, you can make a ton of money and then you'll be able to go into Aldi next week and not have to check your bag.
I
And that,
absolutely love that.
for some people, is their reality. And I don't think that we should shy away from that because we think that putting ourselves on a certain pedestal and attraction marketing and everything, yeah, of course it's real, it works. It's just not my bag. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
never going to do it.
Yeah, I love the being authentic. I think in the world of in the world of digital, the more human that we can be and the more authentic selves, I think that's going to be really the future of social media in itself. Because you'll probably know as more than I do, but the platform's Meta is going to be creating its own influencers. So brands will be creating their own influencers. So they might not need to pay other influencers because they'll have their own AI version of it, right?
Yeah.
So, how do we be more human in the world of social media?
How do we be more human? I think it's a big question because it's almost like you say to somebody, well, be more human.
Exactly. How do you be more human? You can't. You just have to be yourself, right?
I think obviously it sounds very wishy-washy, but being yourself, but also catching yourself in your vulnerabilities. And I don't mean selling your soul to the internet and being
Mm-hmm.
sad on the internet, but catching yourself in those moments where you catch yourself in your vulnerabilities and you catch yourself in the moments of like, I'm finding it hard today, or this isn't as easy as it may come across, or just, I think it's hard because if you consciously say be more human, then you're putting a conscious effort to it, which therefore makes it not so.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. I think it's more a permission piece. It's giving
Mm.
yourself permission to just exist how you do. And I think maybe the reason that I'm so aligned with that is because I've had to give myself permission consistently to show up in a marginalized body. So I've had
Yeah.
to learn to give myself permission from day one. I've had to give myself permission to walk into business spaces that Christ, they're not made for me. I've had to give myself
Yeah.
permission to feel uncomfortable, to challenge people, to call in people, to make spaces safer for me. I've had to give myself permission to be the odd one out because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to exist in this space. So I kind of think, like with love, for me to say to somebody, be more human and give them permission, I'm a bit like, is that not a given?
Yeah.
Because I know the reason that I have to give myself permission, and that feels a magnitude harder than just being you on the internet. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm naive, but I just think that maybe it's just a permission piece and it really is that simple.
It sounds a lot like mindset and a lot of growth mindset. And you mentioned at the beginning in your introduction that you've built a lot of resilience through your lived experience. And I assume that even with the amount that you're putting yourself out on social media, that you have to continually work on that resilience and your mindset around all of it. And giving yourself permission, is that part of what that mindset is as well? So, how do you build that mindset for social media?
Absolutely. I think building that mindset for social media, you've got to accept that you're going to be trolled. Now, and this comes with a huge caveat. I have had clients come to me where people have said, as soon as you get trolled on the internet, you've made it.
I've heard that as well.
And I Cannot stand it. And the reason I cannot stand it is maybe it could be seen as a fact. I understand the logic behind it. What I don't agree with is that I feel it's our responsibility as people who teach people social media how to keep people safe on
Yeah.
social media. And I include a whole session in my Instagram is dead where I talk about safety online because safety online
Mm-hmm.
is important. Myself, I have been trolled several times, including on Tattle Life, where there was a 6-page thread of screenshots, documents. People had literally wrote like school reports, it seemed, on me and my behavior, had broke me down into tiny, tiny little bits. And that was the one time that it did affect how I showed up on social media. So I think accepting, firstly, that you're going to get trolled at some point. Secondly, you're not going to be liked by everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. I say very boldly and confidently, I know that I detest. Some people detest me. I know they do. They think I'm too loud. They can't believe I dress this way. They can't believe I swear. Do you know, I'm like, all of these things, I know I do. Okay. But I would rather exist in my existence, not hating myself and
Uh-huh.
other people hate me. Now, hate is a strong word. I don't think it's that deep. But what I'm saying is that there's going to be people that don't agree with the way that you show up. There's going to be. If you know yourself, you know your values, you know where you stand, you are aligned with yourself, that will make you strong and resilient. So you have to remind yourself constantly of who you are, which is one of the things I teach my clients. Remember who the F you are. I say it all the time because you have to remember who you are because social media is so loud. It's easy to get sucked in and think I need to show up this way or I need to do this or I need to do that. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not actually the case. You don't even have to listen to anything I'm saying. You need to show up in a way that's authentic to you. So I think that resilience is something that you consistently have to work on. I tell you what, you do have to work on it every time you level up
Mm-hmm.
because you see people shift. So I
Mm-hmm.
recently did a £10,000 launch. I celebrated it out loud because I do with everything. That's something that I teach my clients. Celebrate your wins, celebrate your
Mm-hmm.
non-wins, but celebrate your wins. Spoke very openly about it and I saw people's energy shift towards,
Okay.
and that messed me up a little bit. I had 3 people within case of 24 hours offering to sell something to me. And I was like, this is interesting because it's just not my style of doing things.
Yeah.
So I had to then grow a resilience to understand, okay, this is the space. This is sometimes what happens if you're okay. And then I felt a vulnerability. Should I have shared that I did a 10K launch? Yes, I bloody should have done because I was
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. So I think the resilience changes and what you need resilience for shifts
Mm-hmm.
with where you are at. And every time you level up, you will find a new level of resilience. And the other thing that I've noticed now is people go for me with their content. So, you know, the marketing off the back of somebody else's marketing,
Yeah.
they're ripping apart somebody else's marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed now that I'm getting that. And
Okay.
that's a new level of resilience that I have not been exposed to. I've got the things about my appearance, swearing, my hair, how I show up, vibrator earrings. People don't like the way that I dress, things like that. I'm used to that. Somebody actually pulling apart how I teach and my methods, that doesn't sit right with me so far. And that's what I'm working on right now. So, of course,
Mm-hmm.
resilience is something that you have to consistently work on. Yes.
That's like a business owner sort of skill set as well, is just being able to handle that ambiguity when it comes. But resilience is a real core kind of value, isn't it really? Is it a value? Is it a skill? It's maybe both of those things, but it's something that you continuously need to work on, as you said there. And you are really strong with your resilience. I think so. Definitely. Okay, you've got such a big community, right? And we've talked about raving fans. So how do people start to grow their community? How do they start to build a community of raving fans? What's the difference between the two?
So, the difference between the two is firstly, not stopping when you've made the sale. So I see this a lot. See this a lot in business in general. So this is not social media specific. This is client specific. So you've made your sale. you've exchanged, you've got your Kartra notification, your standstill notification, you're dead happy about it. You've done a little dance, and then 3 minutes later, you've forgot their name. That is the problem. Okay. I remember what it was like when I invested in something and I was terrified. I remember what that felt like for me. Okay. And because when we're thinking about people investing in us, we obviously want people who are excited to invest in us, but there's also a fear that comes with that. So when I
Mhm.
invested in one to many, was I excited? Yeah. Was I terrified? Absolutely. I was so scared. Okay. And I remember what that feeling was like. And I would have hated to not have the support that I got. So when I think about the people that work with me, I try and remember every single person's name. Of course, I have £9 offers and £27 offers. So I'm not going to remember every single person. But one of the ways that I do it is you buy anything from me, anything, a £9 offer, anything, you get put in a client only Facebook group where I can keep in contact with you, where you can ask.
Mhm.
And we've built a community. And it was actually Lindsay Goddard who taught me how to do that. Love that training. It's changed my
Mhm.
business. If anybody doesn't know Lindsay Goddard is, you need to check her out. Her work is amazing. And that changed a massive part of my business because I've created a community where I stay in contact with the people who bought something from me. They can literally buy from me once, they'll have lifetime access to that community.
Mhm.
And they know that, and they know that I care. Personalization in the rise of AI, okay, personalization is so important. And AI can also help you with that.
Yeah.
Having that personalization with your clients, remembering that they are a bloody person, not just a
Mhm.
sale, is going to build you a community. All right. And also a surprise and a delight, giving them a little bit of something
Yeah.
extra, giving them something that they can be excited about. For example, I am taking some of the members from Lindsay's Backyard to Lindsay's Backyard is my client only Facebook group. I'm taking them out for the evening. All on me. I'm taking them to a burlesque show because I'm the headline sponsor for the burlesque weekender. Wanted to take a few of my clients. Some of them have spent £9 with me. Some of them have spent £600 with me. Doesn't really matter. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a surprise and a delight. They didn't know that was going to happen, but I'm going to take them with me anyway. So, how can you make sure that your clients are loved on so hard? Because your clients are going to speak louder than you ever can about yourself
Mhm.
because recommendations serve so much more than just you talking about yourself and how good you are. Obviously, that's important. We love a bit of
Mhm.
exposition, and it's something that I'm very good at. But also, you need a community of people that care about what you care about. And I also think sharing my values
Mhm.
again pushes a lot of people away from me. The people who come closer to me are the people who are absolutely diehard fans because they know where I stand, they know
Mhm.
what I'm about, and they've got my back. And we don't
Mhm.
talk about that. That's so important in business. It's lonely. It's so
Yeah.
lonely. Online business is so lonely. I know that I have a community of people that I can wave at and say, do you know what? Because I'm okay in my vulnerability, because this isn't surprising for you, I can say, do you know what? I'm having a bit of a rubbish day. It's not trauma porn. I don't need you to save me, but I know I can say it and I know that I'm safe with you.
Mhm.
Like, imagine the power of that.
It is very powerful. And again, it just, when you were talking there, it just helped me go back to what you were saying. It's going back to yourself and being yourself and your authenticity and your core values of who you are. And those people will come with you on that journey because they're with you. And I love your surprise and delight. That's something that I learned when I was at Apple. We were taught how to surprise and delight our customers. So you brought that out there, and I'm like, oh, it's a lovely little turn of phrase. But what a fantastic surprise and delight that is. Tell us about your burlesque as well. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, burlesque. Well, I've been in burlesque and cabaret for 10 years.
Okay.
A producer, stage manager, performer. I'm making my re-debut. I'm coming back
Love
into
it.
in September.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I produce burlesque and cabaret shows. So
Mm-hmm.
burlesque is stripping because I'm not going to try and make it sound like anything. I hate it when people say like it's posh stripping or it's not the same. No, burlesque is they take their clothes off, we take our
Uh-huh.
clothes off, okay. But it's a community that has given
Mm-hmm.
me a community when I didn't have a community, and that's where Reclaim Means Business was born, where
Okay.
basically, in the simplest of form, you get a full day of business experts speaking about some of the best subjects and topics and some of the literal best speakers in this space. And you
Mhm.
also get some of the best creative people in this space speaking about their craft.
Mm.
And then in the evening, we have a full burlesque and cabaret show. This year, we've got Danny Beard as our headliner from
Brilliant! I
RuPaul's.
love Danny Beard.
Yeah, Danny's our headliner.
That's amazing.
Not only will they be performing, he will be speaking for us as well.
Okay, great.
So that's the kind of premise behind that event. It's literally, and when we say so many people say there's nothing else out there like it, there is literally nothing else out there like it.
So where is that event then? Where are you holding it and when is it? Tell us a little bit more.
So we've only got 31 tickets left. So it's on the
There'll be less than that by this episode goes out, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, if you're not fast, you're last. Is that right, Lindsay?
So it's on the 9th of October in Rotherham.
Okay.
Basically Sheffield. That's how I
Okay.
make people understand where it is. It's in Rotherham.
Okay.
It's near Meadowhall. And it's at Magna
Okay.
Science Centre. So it's in the big, huge Magna Science Centre. We've
Okay.
only got 31 tickets left.
Get them before they're gone. The event sounds absolutely incredible. So is it a full day that people can be there with you? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Great.
a full day.
Mhm.
So it starts around 9:30 and then it finishes about 8 o'clock at night because you've got the
Mhm.
burlesque and cabaret show as well. But it's such a the event is so clever because it's everything I wanted it to be. I come from a creative background. I also come from a
Mhm.
business mindset. And I wanted to bring the two worlds together so that we could learn from each other, so that we can take so performers and cabaret and creatives can take the business side, and then the business owners can take some of the wacky tenacity, the forward thinking from performers. And it's my
Yeah.
argument that every business owner is in fact a creative.
I agree.
100%. You
Yeah.
don't get it until you walk into that room. You walk into that room and it makes complete, utter sense. I mean, it must do because I'm not worried. We have a 170 capacity and have 31 tickets left. So clearly it does
Yeah.
make sense. And we're only in our second year.
Mhm.
So it's just, I love it so much. It's given me so much hope for the future and also has enabled me to promise to give £10,000 back to the burlesque and cabaret scene through sponsorship and donations. So it's a real love of mine.
It's a multitude of wins there for not just you but your entire community as well, and everyone else that's coming along. That creativity in business though is something that I talk heavily about as well. My job role at Apple was a creative, and that's what we did, but we helped business owners with our technology, and it's really about using our creative side of the brain to be able to come up with solutions for our customers. And I don't think businesses put that together. They
No,
don't think about their problem solving skills or their creative skills or their collaboration skills or all those kind of essential skills that I talk about to be able to win and be successful in business. But you're pulling all of those together in what you're creating.
I'm trying. It's really
You
important.
are.
Trying. I don't want creatives to be seen as so disposable. And I also
Mm-hmm.
don't want business owners to be seen and deemed as elitist. Like, I want to merge the worlds together so that we can both get rid of our subconsciouses about each other.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you've created a space for that. So get your tickets if you've not got them yet. Go and see the entire community come together and be creative and successful at the same time. So let's go back to Instagram, and I want us to talk a little bit about where can people get started if they've not even approached Instagram at all yet. What is the best place for them to kind of start to use the platform? And then how do they start to make more sales using the platform?
Okay. So if you've never started with Instagram before, brilliant. You're in a perfect place because that means you can start right. Okay. So actually, not all is lost. You're in a better position than most because if you're starting from scratch, you can do it right. Okay. So the things, I mean, it's a big question to answer in a small sentence, but if you're starting literally from scratch, start talking about who the hell you are. All right. Who are you? Like, who literally are you? Make it clear from the off, okay, that you're a business. Okay. So you are who you are, but also make it clear that you will be selling to people at some point. Now, that does not mean from day dot you start saying, here's my offers, bearing in mind this audience does not know you yet, but make it clear that you are a business owner. The amount of people that have become influencers on Instagram who are business owners because it's not making it clear that you can buy from them is wild. Okay. So from the off, make it clear that you will be selling them at some point, because they don't want to get whiplash. They don't want to be really comfortable and then one minute you start selling to them, because they're not going to know what the bloody hell has hit them. So make it apparent to them that you will be selling to them at some point and you are a business owner. So start sharing about you, why you care about what you care about. Get lots of social proof on there. No, it will not be your most engaged content. Absolutely, it will not be your most engaged content, but it'll help people buy from you. Reels are a brilliant way of improving your growth. If you can stay consistent with reels, you can post a reel a day, you will grow, regardless of how shocking those reels are. If you're thinking, I cannot do reels, promise you, if you do one reel a day, you will grow. Oh gosh, it's a big question, but my core ones are making it clear that you are a business. Absolutely. Reels are the way to grow the quickest, but only if you can stay consistent with them. Tell people why you give a crap. Tell people why you give a crap, and social proof, and then the rest will come.
The rest will come as part of that. So I know that you've got this freebie that people can join your community, or start to join your community as part of it, and it's Make More Sales on Instagram, and it's a 30-minute one-stop shop on how to do that. Tell us a little bit more about what that freebie is, or are you just going to let people discover it themselves? Tell what you're going to do.
Tell you what, I think it's a good year and a half, maybe 2 years old, actually. I need to update it, but it will be on the same link, so don't worry. But that masterclass is going to tell you how to actually sell on Instagram, because there's so many things that you are not doing and you're saying, well, Instagram doesn't work for me, but you don't know how to sell on the platform because you're focusing on the wrong things. So this freebie is for you if you are specifically wanting to sell. It simply is that. So we don't talk about engagement. We don't talk about reach. We don't talk about following. We talk about how to sell. So how to make sure your Instagram is ready to sell, how to convert, how to have awkward conversations in the DMs, because a massive part of what I do is teaching people how to sell as well, particularly through Instagram, but also I can change your mindset around selling. Literally, trust me, I'm bloody brilliant at it, because
You very much are. So you really are.
now I am a weapon at selling because I've made it work for me. So in there, you will make sure that you've got your profile ready. Make sure you've got your profile ready to sell. You're going to learn how to do DMs and following up. You're going to learn about your call to actions and how to make your call to actions actually work. The amount of people that I see do call to actions and they're just not hitting the mark. And literally a few tweaks will make a difference to your call to actions. I will give you a tip with call to actions because I'm very passionate about it.
Thank you.
When people are coming to your profile for the first time, particularly if you're trying to get them into lead magnet, okay, what you're wanting to do is make your call to action as simple as possible, and you want to change your language. So let's say I said on my call to action, I have an Instagram training where I tell you how to make more sales on Instagram. Comment the word sales and I'll give you the link. Naff. Try this. I'm giving everybody that comments sales on this reel the exact way to sell on Instagram for free. That little switch, that little difference makes all the impact, because remember, on Instagram, swipe, 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 swipe. We are not spending our time taking in that content. So let's make it as simple as possible for our audience.
Yeah, keep it super simple is really what it is. And make it clear, I think. Yeah, clear.
Stop dancing around it. What are we telling them to do? How are we telling them to do it? Is it free or is it paid? Tell them.
It's answering those questions, isn't it, that are going on in their heads. They're
Yes.
going, do I need to pay for this? How much does it cost? Is this going to make an impact? But actually, you're telling them right off the bat what it's doing.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. But again, we're not taught that really when we set up a business. And actually, I've one thing I forgot to mention to you as well, is to recap on what you said. What you talk about, and what I find with all the conversations that I have, is that in order for you business to grow, you have to invest, right?
Oh
You
gosh.
have to invest in training. You have to invest in upskilling. You have to learn from other people to be able to do it. It's all about learning and growing and developing at all times. So
Yeah.
take that little bit of step to invest. And not only have you done that because you said you invested in one to many, and then you've invested in somebody else that helps you grow your business as well.
Yeah,
So,
I would say that I've never been coached. I've never been mentored. I am now looking for a coach or mentor. If
mm.
anybody DMs me, I'm going to ignore you. But I am now so mentor because I know that I'm in that next phase where I'm going to
Yeah.
need some help, right? This year, the last 6 months in particular, I have ferociously, but I've ferociously invested. I
Uh-huh.
have said, F this more than I've ever said it before. I have thought, I'll do it now and I'll work it out later. I have invested so much money this year into my business, but the payoff is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And I would say that, and we can talk about this because we're amicable, so it's okay. I think the massive shift for me as well, in terms of investment and in terms of the last 6 months, is I split up with my ex partner and my energy just switched from, I'm out here on my own now.
Mm-hmm.
I've only got me to answer to. If I mess it up, it's all my fault. So I just thought, let's go. And I've
Mm-hmm.
literally ran at everything I've wanted to achieve this year. And I
Yeah.
think if we could just bottle up a little bit of that mentality and give it out to people, the absolute effect that that could have on your business.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, you got that weird idea. There's a weird idea that sits in all of our heads. There's a weird idea that we've always thought we were going to do in business and we just never get around
Mm-hmm.
to it. Pull that idea out, do that idea, change your business.
Yeah. I mean, you've lived that and you are it, and you're an epitome of what you preach. And that's why your bio was just it was so right. You are exactly what you do and you say online. Integrity is such a core value for me. So I love that. And that's why I really align with you. Plus, I love your style, man. I love the Care Bears. What does your necklace say? What does it say?
Take up space, which is one of my
Love it.
slogans. So
Love it.
my slogans are take up space and remember who the F you are.
Remember who the F you are, everybody. And now remember who the F Lindsay is by going and signing up to her free Make More Sales Instagram masterclass, which will then get you in her community. Not only does she spend time in the DMs, but also in her community group if you're a paying customer, right? You've got your customer group
So
that
if
you mentioned about.
if you're
That's
paying,
right. You
then you
get to have that connection. You also get to go along to Lindsay's event that she's running as well and just really be part of our world. Go and explore and learn and follow and be part of what Lindsay is making an impact in the world. Last thing that I ask every speaker to do is to share 3 tips that they can share with the audience that they can take away, take action on. And what would you like those 3 tips to be, Lindsay?
oh, does it have to be Instagram specific or
No,
business?
anything you want, you can talk
Okay,
about.
I'm going to do some caveats. So I'm going
Hmm.
to first start with an Instagram one. Okay. So my biggest Instagram tip is there are thousands of people that do exactly what you do. There is only one of you. So the biggest thing that you can do to make sure that you are memorable is lean into who the hell you are. Lean into it so much. Your quirks, if you're weird, there's nothing wrong. I am very weird, right? Your weirdness, your uniqueness, what stands you out, lean into that and in business, but on social media, that's going to make you stand out. Secondly, start talking about your goals out loud. Don't be scared of them. Say them out loud, and people will follow not only your journey, but they will celebrate your successes with you. When you start saying the goals out loud, they are easier to make happen. Now, I don't know whether it's manifestation. I don't know whether I just need a goal to go towards, but I know that it makes a huge difference. Whenever I'm asked to speak, I have never publicly spoke about Instagram on a stage ever. And I always say the reason that I haven't done that is because my activism is so important to me that actually whenever I get a space on a stage, I choose not to speak about Instagram because I know that that serves itself. So I'm actually going to give you a little bit of activism and I'm going to give you a little bit of something about bodies. So If you exist in a body that you currently hate or you dislike, I want to remind you that your body has allowed you to do everything that it's already allowed you to do, whether that to be drink a cup of tea, say hello to your friends, pick up that phone that saved your friend's life. If you didn't have the body that you had, regardless of how it changes, you wouldn't have been able to do those said things. So don't waste your time hating your body. Give it the time to thank it for where it is right now, because our body is a moving organ that consistently will change and grow however it chooses to. But we exist in it so that we can do incredible fucking things. And I just swore, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But
Nope, swearing's okay.
always remember that. Don't hate your body. Just get on and do the thing. Your body is the least interesting thing about you.
Oh my God, Lindsay, I'm just in love. I love it so much. You have to be okay with who you are. And I think that just really resonates into being okay who you are, being okay with who you are by showing up, being okay by showing up for your people and your community, by building that community in that space, and then showing up for your audience, showing up for your customers, and just, yeah, helping them solve their problems, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today, Lindsay. I could talk to you for hours, and I hope that we do get the opportunity to do that at some point as well.
Reclaim means business.
I know, I will. Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's been an absolute honour and privilege to have you on here. And please go and connect with Lindsay. All of her places online will be shared in the show notes. They'll be shared in the descriptions. But however you're consuming this content, go and connect with Lindsay. Sign up to the Make More Sales on Instagram masterclass as well that she's got, and just be part of her world and learn from Lindsay.
Okay.
Thank you for coming today. Have a great, fantastic day, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Digital Dominators. I hope today's episode gave you something practical, or at least a bit of a boost to keep things going in this mad digital world. If you're enjoying the podcast, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up. There's loads more good stuff on the way and some brilliant guests lined up too. And if you fancy going a bit deeper, come and join the Digital Dominators community. It's totally free, and it's where I share bonus trainings, podcast extras, and tools to help you build confidence with your digital skills. You'll also get access to my social media prompt calendar, so you can finally stop staring at that blank screen wondering what to post. Just head to technologycoachingonline.com/digital dominators to get started. Alright, that's it from me just now. Stay curious, keep showing up, and I'll catch you in the next one.